ever had a TENS unit or been referred one by a doctor or found them online and you've used it, there's an amazing chance that you haven't gotten most of the benefit of it, if any of the benefit of it. And I want to kind of explain why, because people have a misunderstanding of the TENS units. And I suffered this for a while. I felt like I was given one and I was told, yeah, put the electrodes on your muscle and do this and you're good to go. And I had a physical therapist that would do the same thing. And if you understand the basics of the unit, the whole function of it changes and becomes much more beneficial. So we call them TENS units, but they're just nerve stimulation units would probably be the better name for it, because TENS is actually just a function of the nerve stimulation unit. And so TENS stands for transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. So just under the skin nerve stimulation. TENS, when you have a TENS unit and you're using for the TENS settings, what you're doing is you're targeting sensory nerves. And it's sending currents into those sensory nerves that essentially override the nerve sending pain signals, and it blocks those out, thus leading to the less pain. TENS settings are specifically for that purpose. They're for pain modulation. They're not for rebuilding tissue. They're not for growing muscle. They're really kind of strict in the sense of helping with pain. People use them on their lower back, shoulders, anywhere that you have chronic pain issues, or even pain from a surgery or an injury that's temporary. TENS neurostim settings can help alleviate that quite a lot. So don't underestimate the use of that, but also understand that if you've been given one by a physical therapist or a doctor and they're talking about TENS unit and putting the electrodes on you and saying we're going to use this to help get your muscle stronger, ask if they're doing the right thing, because if they're doing TENS settings, it's not going to effectively help the muscle get stronger. And the reason that is because it's not targeting the right nerve fibers, and it doesn't have the right current. Now, the other setting is NMES. NMES is neuromuscular electrostimulation. So specifically, it targets the motor neurons. So let's get the functional nerves for your muscles. When you use the NMES settings, those are the ones that should be used if you're at a physical therapist office and you're trying to build muscle back up or stop a muscle from atrophying. Again, I hear just people say TENS, and even my own physical therapist over the years that I've had have used tools like that, and I went back to find out that they weren't using the right settings. So the TENS settings of a nerve stimulation unit help with pain. The NMES settings of a neurostim unit help with muscle function and not necessarily strength, but prevention of atrophy or reversing atrophy. So that's a big piece of the puzzle. You probably have seen on a few of my videos, once in a while I post something where I've stuck some of these on my legs in particular, because one of my biggest problem areas outside of my shoulders and my back are my legs have such heavy deformity that my muscles that keep your knee stabilized, in particular the VMO, vastus medialis obliquus, fancy fun names for all this stuff, but the inside muscle keeps that kneecap as stable as it is. After my surgeries, after any injury, that thing just deflates like a balloon. And not just on me, but a lot of people suffer that. And then if you're already having a little bit of instability in your knee, this just accelerates it. So I'm using currently the NMES settings to see if I can offset some of the atrophy that's occurred in my legs, and I'll be sharing my progress with you guys as I go along with that. And then once in a while, if it's for pain treatment, if I'm having one of my rough episodes or flare-ups in my knee or my lower back, these are great for pain relief for a period of time too. They make types of neurostim units that are really simple. They're like a unit that you take a little piece off and lock it in and strap it onto a part of your body and turn it on. And it doesn't really have settings that you can change, but it'll be enough to send a current for pain. But if you want a functional unit, you need to get a unit that is TENS and NMES. The two together are, when used properly, can help with pain and also muscle function. And for people with issues that affects, like people with EDS or other major ailments where keeping muscle strength is an issue, and going and lifting crazy weights isn't an option, this is the greatest tool. This is a great tool for alternative health, and it's more of a holistic approach, even though it's definitely using science. If you've used one of these devices in the past, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me how it's been for you, goods and bads. If you have questions, if you've had one and you're like, I feel like it's done nothing, what are you doing differently? Reach out. I would love to have a chat with you about it. So like the video, if you would subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow to the point where we can start talking to people that really matter in the fields of chronic pain, health syndromes, and science. And I'm trying to get everyone better answers, because I know we're all on the same boat where we just don't get the right answers that we're looking for 99% of the time. I'm actively seeking to solve that, while I'm also on my journey of getting several of my joints fixed from the chronic severe ailments of them. And that whole story I'm sharing with you guys. So, but on the TENS unit, please talk about it. Make a comment below. Like the video, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, would be very grateful. And I look forward to hearing from you guys.